morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of voice radio. So today, I've got one of those updates to show you, which is firstly, brilliant, and secondly, slightly frustrating. You see, I've told you a couple of times about these 100 start decks that are coming over in Japan. And essentially the deal is they're kind of like booster packs, except instead of booster packs you get an entire deck, and there are only 100 different decks. So essentially you have a 1% chance of opening each individual deck. And you do get them as whole decks, so there are literally exactly 100 combinations, each of which is its own deck, and off we go. And there are things in there like Kingler V Max, which is brand new. Ultra Ball's getting its reprint in there. There is a new Pikachu V, that's terrible. And a new Zamazenta V, which is very much not terrible. There's new stuff in there, there's cool stuff in there. We also know that Aggron V Max is in there. Now, we haven't seen Aggron V Max, which is a little bit sad, but we know that Aggron V Max is in there. And the reason very simply is, we have been told officially, it has been announced, this is real, that Aggron V Max is coming in Brilliant Stars. That was in the press release, that's a real thing. We have now seen the entire main set list from VMAX Climax, and the only new VMAX in VMAX Climax was Mimikyu. Which means that Aggron is not in VMAX Climax, but it is in Brilliant Stars, and there's only really one place that could possibly actually come around, which means we are getting it in the 100 start decks. Now, I wish I could show you that today. That would be lovely. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I can't. For now, we're just going to have to move on with our lives and be a little bit sad. But I can show you some new stuff, including a new Morpeko V. And this one's kind of cool, because this one we almost know what it does. Now, this was shown off in an advert, a YouTube video over in Japan. Shout out to the lovely Primal Lugia, who went to a lot of effort to find the best quality image of this card that they could. We said it many times before, Primal Lugia is awesome. Also, I believe it might actually be Primal Lugia's birthday today, did not tell me, very naughty. So massive happy birthday to the lovely Primal Lugia. So with all of that borne in mind, what do we know about this Morpeko? Well, you'll notice that although we've had a Morpeko V, the Morpeko V we've had before was the full belly mode. This is Hangry mode. It's the darkness type one. And to be fair, being a darkness type Pokemon is pretty relevant nowadays. Let's not forget that Shadowrata Calyrex, very good card, very good deck. Weak to darkness. Let's not forget that Mew V Max, very good card, very good deck, weak to darkness. So frankly, darkness is a really good type to be hitting right now in terms of weakness. So straight off the bat, like, if you're going to be hitting that good a weakness, that is something to look out for, something to be a little bit excited about. Okay, fine, we can't play it based purely on the typing, but it's not a bad place to start. Now, annoyingly, I don't think we ever got a good look at the HP. I've looked through the video, and maybe I'm just being dumb. I've looked at the screenshots people have been posting. I don't believe we ever got a look at the amount of HP, which is very sad. Having said that, it's Morpeko. Don't expect a lot of HP. The previous one had 170 HP. This one probably will as well. One thing that is super interesting, though, it's just called Morpeko V, and sure, we've got the different modes of Morpeko and all of that, but all of the cards are just called Morpeko. What that means is, yes, you absolutely can evolve a Darkness-type Morpeko V into a Lightning-type Morpeko V Max. I'm not sure if we've got any other examples. I'm still not terribly well at the moment, so my brain isn't quite what it usually is. I can't think of another example off the top of my head where you can VMAX to change your typing, or not change your typing, it's up to you. You can start with Lightning and keep with Lightning, or you can start with Darkness and move to Lightning. I think that's extremely cool, and pretty gosh darn relevant. Now, we do have translations for the attacks as far as we can see. Our translations do come from the lovely Antoine Boulet. We do very much like the lovely Antoine Boulet. And what we've got here is 2 energy, 30 damage, and you can switch to the bench, which is fine. It is colorless energy that's good. I know we're getting double turbo energy, but also very, very, very much worth bearing in mind that double turbo energy reduces the damage you do by 20, which means this will do 10 and switch to the bench. That's not really enough. And actually, as we're here, I suppose it is worth pointing out, don't forget this is going to be in Brilliant Stars. Like, it seems very, very, very much at this stage, you know. We know that Kingler V Max is in the 100 start deck and is coming in Brilliant Stars. It seems very, very likely that the new cards on the 100 start deck are all going to be appearing in Brilliant Stars. So if you want to get this Morpeko, you've only got to wait till February. That ain't that long, ladies and gentlemen. That ain't that long at all. Also, digging the artwork on this one. Now, the better attack, the one which is a bit more relevant for 2 darkness, 1 colorless energy, it does 120 damage and some extra damage if you use Marnie's Pride this turn. Now, Marnie's Pride is going to be in the start deck 100. That is a card which has previously been officially revealed. It's just a supporter card that lets you attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. It is both a better and a worse version of Beedee. And Beedee's been around for a while, and Beedee honestly has not seen a huge amount of play, which should make you a little bit nervous, because it makes me a little bit nervous, because if Beedee's been around for so long and not seen a huge amount of play, will this? Beedee attaches a basic energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. This attaches from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. There's reasons for and against each of them. Really, it depends on whether you'd rather try and get the energy in your hand or get it in the discard. For what it's worth, I think most of the time it's going to be easier to get it in the discard and use Marnie later, rather than draw into Beedee and the energy at the same time. But I don't think there's a huge difference between them. But if you do this, you get to do extra damage with Morpeko. How much damage, we don't know. Ideally here, it would be 100. 100 is really what we're looking for here, because 100 would put you up to 220 total, which would get a one-hit KO on pretty much all Pokemon V, and then you would be absolutely rolling. And of course, turn 1, you attach an energy. Turn 2, you attach your second energy. Use Marnie's Pride, hit for 220. That would be amazing. But it could be like 150 you're hitting, and 150 would be garbage. So it really is going to depend on exactly how much extra damage you do with Marnie's Pride. That is going to really determine how good this card ends up being. But it's a new Pokemon V, and it's a little bit interesting. What else is a little bit interesting, but very, very, very annoying, is Reiko V. Now, weirdly with Reiko V, we do know the HP, it's 200, but that's about all we know. We do seem to have an attack there for 2 energy, and there is an ability. What does the ability do? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Sorry. Hopefully one day we will know. Right now we don't. Of course, right now we need to feel a little bit sorry for Entei, because of course Suicune got a V already. Suicune V came along in Evolving Skies. Now Raiko's getting one in the 100 start deck. Entei still nowhere to be seen. Of course, it is important to note that with V-Star coming around, Pokemon V aren't going away. So there is still time for Suicune to get its Pokemon V. It's not the end of the world yet. There's still time, ladies and gentlemen. There's still time. Unlike, for instance, trying to get a Suicune EX, Suicune's never getting an EX. The other two did. Suicune never did. So we know we're getting Reiko V, and I really want to know what it does. But unfortunately, we don't know, and that makes me sad. And the last one we've got here is Dum Dum. Okay, it's actually Barry, but the filter in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, the language filter, is pretty good. But there's still some names you can get through there. My rival in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is called Dum Dum. And honestly, as childish and immature as that sounds, and it is, and I ain't defending that, there are some truly humorous moments of dialogue when you call your character rival Dum Dum. So, yeah, I had fun. The thing is, this isn't actually any real new information. We knew that we were getting a Barry card, and we've now had confirmation we're getting a Barry card. We have no idea what it does. I mean, it's a rival. Generally speaking, rivals draw free cards, but we don't have any idea. So I suppose extra confirmation we're getting Barry, even though we knew it already. But the fact of the matter is, we still haven't seen Aggron. Either the V or the V Max. And now we're starting to see a bunch of new Pokemon V. I showed you Simisear V the other day. We've now got Morpeko V and Reiko V. There are so many of these decks which are currently unrevealed. And at this stage, I refuse to believe we won't be getting Drampa V or Gramble V. Now, what is super interesting, this is the artwork that they use when they are, over on the website, trying to promote these products. And you'll notice that all of the Pokemon there currently have Pokemon V. Now, Morpeko Hangry didn't, but does now. Simisear didn't, but does now. So, bearing in mind, Kingler didn't, but does now. And the only Pokemon on that image that don't have Pokemon V are Drampa and Granbull. And these Pokemon were chosen for a reason. And like I say, there are now 3 Pokemon on that image that didn't have Pokemon V, Simisear, Kingler, and Hangry Morpeko, who do now because of the 100 start deck. I would honestly be absolutely stunned if we didn't have Drampa V and Granbull V. I am very excited to see what they look like. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about all of this. I want to know what you think about Morpeko, your predictions on what Reiko might do, and whether you believe we're getting things like Granbull. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.